the stories we cover are stories that you can't find in corporate media. If you find it, you'll find the edge of it, never the backstory. And I tell this story very often because it's an important story. As you know, I did MSNBC, I did CNN as a contributor. I've done Fox News. My God, I used to be the only liberal on Fox News. Now I've moved to RT America, because it's really one of the only places I can tell these stories, because there aren't advertisers calling in saying, take that cat off the air because he's talking about our corporation, and oh, by the way, if you don't, then we're gonna pull our advertising dollars. I just can't even tell you the number of times it happened where just where there these cases. I think of Yaz, of what it took for us to get people their attention on Yaz, which was a birth control pill that was killing women by the hundreds, DVTs and well, the point is this. The point is we have to tell these stories somewhere. This is one great vehicle. America's Lawyer is another great vehicle. Don't send me your criticism because it's Russian TV. It means nothing to me. It's a vehicle that allows me to tell stories like this that would never be told. You would never hear the stories on, I promise you, you would never hear the stories on corporate media. So you boneheads that are writing, oh my God, Pap and Farron are on RT America, really? Read the stories, follow the stories. Don't give me that blowback because Putin is telling us to tell bad stories in America. You're a dunce. If you're sending stuff to us like that, you're absolutely out in left field. Look, a new lawsuit claims that one of the most profitable forms of mesh is 100% incompatible with human tissue, causing irreparable harm to consumers. Okay? This is a case that we've known about a long time. First time we saw this case in a really ugly way was when women were getting they were getting implants to help with incontinence. They would put mesh implants for female incontinence, and they were vaginal implants, and the injuries that they were causing were deplorable. If you've ever, sometimes go online, find a site where you actually see the damage. It was the equivalent. It was described by a doctor who had to remove these things. He said it was like removing concrete from rebar, and it would take so much human tissue that the result was a life of agony for the women. So now we have this hernia mesh that's being used for all types of processes. I mean, typically a hernia is where you see it, but it's being used for really all types of process. Talk about this a little bit, by the way.
This is really interesting because now the lawsuits with this hernia mesh, the defects that the company was well aware of, they're finally getting underway. And one of the experts in this is the one who said that this is 100% not compatible with human tissue.
Right.
Now, this is a product
Say that again.
Yeah.
Say that again, because this is a product being put in the human body.
Right.
The studies are showing, look, you need to know the stuff you're putting in the human body is not compatible with human tissue.
Right.
And they're still selling it.
Your body is going to treat it as a foreign body almost. And what happens with that, which is how some tumors form, your body starts to envelop it because it believes it's a foreign tissue. So it creates new tissue over it, preventing the hernia mesh from even being able to do what it was supposed to do in the first place. And that's if you're lucky. If you're unlucky, which most people who've had this, filing the suits have been, the hernia mesh breaks apart. It starts perforating the other organs. It can migrate. And it is, because of the tissue adhesion, is nearly impossible to pull out of the body, too.
Let me tease this out just a little bit more. So, why do we, we have Perfix, PERFIX mesh, 3D Max mesh, Ventralex ST mesh, composite mesh. These are the names of the companies making this stuff. And I think when they do this edit, they need to put them up somewhere so people can see these. But at any rate, here's what's important. They've known forever that this idea that there's no way to find a mesh that is compatible with the human body. Some Sometimes it's aberrational. Sometimes people, they don't have problems. Most people do have problems. Most people, this has to be removed from the human body. And when I say removed from the human body, it's not like you just go in there and pull it out.
Right.
You take human tissue with it because, as you point out, the mesh merges with major organ systems. Sometimes they'll shut down entire organ systems. So this is a case that should have been preventable. It was preventable, but the FDA didn't do their job. The FDA said, look, and by the way, what we found in the vaginal mesh was that some of the people in the FDA that approved that went to work for the industry after they approved it. So this is the same thing. We're going to find with this case that the FDA has this revolving door. You say what we want you to say while you're with the FDA, and there's a big job waiting for you when you get out.
Well, here's the thing, too, and this applies to this hernia mesh story, just as well as it does to any of the other ones. And I know we're short on time, but it's the fact that, yes, the company acted in bad faith. Yes, the FDA screwed up. And the third part, we've hit on this, but I've never heard anybody else talk about this. The hospitals being taken over by corporations, and that's why you get things like hernia mesh. Because what it is it comes in a little kit. It's this nice, neat little thing that you give to the surgeon so that they can do hernia repair surgeries
quickly,
faster. Get people in, get them out. Turn and burn, basically, is how they describe it. So you can do as many as you can in a day instead of taking the time, going in there with sutures, stitching it up.
With human tissue.
Right.
It's worse than that. It's actually worse than that. What we found with vaginal mesh was they were taking doctors who had no training. There are doctors who can do these types of repairs because they've been trained. They're surgeons. They're certified surgeons that have an understanding how to do this. But the hospital corporation said, no, we just want the kits, and we want all our doctors to be able to do it because when we do that, we make a lot more money. And we see this all the time with these types of medical devices, all the time. We've got about 25 seconds. Let me just ask you this. Does this ever change? Do you see this getting better? At all.
As long as we're in this horribly greed-driven, profit-driven healthcare system, this is what we've got. And the last line of defense is the court system with the plaintiffs' lawyers going there fighting for us.
You just got to live with it. I'm Mike Papantonio with Farron Cousins. You're watching Ring of Fire, and we'll be back.